gentlemen, and welcome to Dissing Disabilities, where we discuss issues around individuals with disabilities, knocking down barriers one issue at a time. Today we're out on the road and we are at California State University, Long Beach, with a very special guest, Miss Nicole Smith. Nicole is an instructor at Cal State Long Beach, and we are continuing our series on the IEP process. And what makes Nicole such a unique guest is that, according to what her resume says and what she shared with me, is that she's partaken in over 200 IEPs, so she's a wealth of information. Welcome to the show, Nicole.
Thank you very much for having me.
So, Nicole, you were talking to me before the show about something very important. I wanted to bring it to our viewers' attention, and that is, you were talking to me about the language to use during an IEP meeting and how important that is. Would you like to elaborate a little bit on that?
Sure. I think it's absolutely crucial that parents write measurable goals, as we kind of talked about, and also that they are using language that's very kind of soft and not rigid, not demanding, because a lot of times districts have an idea of what they feel will be supporting their individual or student with disabilities in the school environment, but parents also have different goals. So coming to a common standard is important, and the language plays a large part in that. And so being knowledgeable about the law, being knowledgeable about how the classroom's structured and what's going to be best supported is really good. So as long as parents are going in there knowing that, you know, the schools also have responsibilities, that would be helpful. But just using the appropriate language and ensuring that the schools are providing them what they need, and just continuing to use that language to not be seen kind of as a problem parent is what's going to be the most successful.
And I think I wanted to piggyback on that. And by that, I mean that when you talk about the problem parent, it would be the parent who says automatically out of the chute, I want my attorney. Where's my attorney? I'm going to walk in with the attorney. What we've said earlier in the show is that you want to do this like a dance, and it's an ongoing dance. And I call it the IEP dance, which is the district makes a move, you respond as the parent. The parent makes a move, the district responds, and you keep going back and forth until you what you get is what you desire.
Exactly. And I think just as long as parents, you know, are mindful that this is a process and that it takes time, and if you don't get what you want, you can keep requesting these meetings, and eventually you will get what you want. And it's something, maybe not exactly what you had planned, but something that is accommodating and still sits well with you in terms of serving your son or daughter, and that's what the end goal is. And a lot of times parents go in there very harsh and, you know, bringing in the law, wanting to record the sessions, which is always acceptable with the permission, but, you know, just using those tools when necessary, when you're not getting what you want or you feel like they're not going well, and kind of thinking about that dance, as you mentioned.
Right, and I think what is really, really important in this whole thing is do not give up.
Right.
This could be a very daunting process. I know I've said it over and over. It's not because I want to be gloom and doom. I want you to be empowered and prepared. And it is not easy, and sometimes parents give up.
Right.
They get tired. The district wants you to go away. The whole idea of this show, and the reason why we've developed this, is to not only hear from the teacher and different segments that we have, but to empower you not to give up, to keep going and to keep plugging, because if you don't, you will not be your child's best advocate. And remember, you are your child's best advocate. Paint the picture of your child so they can recognize who they are. You know your child the best, and I'm glad that what I'm saying is being agreed to, because I see Nicole nodding her head and smiling, because even though I'm not a parent, I lived the IEP, I've been through the IEP process, and we want to give you really, really great information, and it's people like Nicole who make our show a success by coming on and giving her input. And again, I have to let you guys know about our book, Navigating the IEP Process. You can get the book on Amazon.com or by emailing me at rob@specificallyspeaking.com. I'll be happy to get that for you. How did you get involved with the IEP process?
So basically, I had been in the K through 12 system for the last about 10 years before I came into higher ed. And in the first year, I taught in a public school classroom, and the next year it was a private school. And then the following 8 years was in a non-public school, which is a school for individuals either with emotional disturbance or autism. And that's where I had a lot of my experience in working with individuals that had disabilities and also had IEPs.
Wow, you have a lot of experience, and it sounds like you're going to be a great resource. And so my next question for you, Nicole, is what do you see as the major roadblock with the IEPs from the teacher point of view?
So I would say that the biggest roadblock for both teachers, parents of individuals that have disabilities in terms of the IEP process would be the communication. I see a lot of times where districts have budgets and mandates, and they also have their classifications of individual disabilities as well as generalized supports. And so a lot of times during these meetings, districts are trying to communicate what they have, and parents have goals that are very specific to their individual, and it's hard sometimes to come at a consensus of what they want, and a lot of times it becomes very muddled.
So what I hear you saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, is they're forgetting the individualism in the IEP. They're sort of rubber stamping and clumping all of the people. For example, like if I were a kid today, I would be clumped with all the kids with CP, and this is what we do, and this is what we give. Is that correct?
Yes, I would definitely say so. And parents, obviously have a strong sense of support for their sons and daughters, and they really want the best for them, but they don't understand what it's like to be in the classroom, nor sometimes do some of the individuals in the meetings, or sometimes they forget what it's like to have an individual, and kind of working out that balance is very difficult.
Yes, and the IEP process is very daunting.
Yes.
So that being said, my last question for you for today would be, what would you want to tell parents that are either preparing or going through the IEP process as words of wisdom, and then I can kind of wrap it up.
Sure. So I would really recommend strong communication with the teacher and making sure that you kind of have your goals set forth, and if you're not able to reach those, kind of seek more support from the schools. And be prepared with goals and different ideas that you feel will be helpful for your son or daughter in the classroom as well.
I would also like to piggyback on that. Make sure those goals are measurable.
Right.
Okay. So it would be something like Johnny will read at a level 4 by X date, and by the end of the semester he'll be at a level X.
Right.
To be measurable goals. And then the other thing is, don't give up.
Right.
They're going to make you want, they're going to be very daunting by not giving in right away. So the more that you press and the more that you say no, it's like a dance. Like I was saying, the IEP dance, you make a move, they make a move. You make a move, they make a move. And the dance really depends on how the process goes. And sometimes it can be very easy, but most times it's very daunting.
Right, and to learn a lot about the law and what schools can offer is also very helpful too, so you have the language and they know that you're knowledgeable about the experience.
Right. Also, I would like to have you leave a comment at the bottom of the screen if you can, and then you may also subscribe, because when you subscribe, that's how we grow, and how we grow is how we stick around. So have a great time, and we'll talk to you later.